Hello, I'm Gemma from Brentwood Communications. We are so happy to welcome you to our lunchtime webinar. Today we will give you a brief introduction to IDARO, the next generation communications for business and commerce use. We have packed all of the essential information you need into just 15 minutes. If you would like a free trial, please use the link we've pinned to the top of the chat window, to the top right of your screen. Today, Tom and Bertie from IDARO will be presenting, and they will host a live Q&A session at the end of their presentations. So if you have any questions along the way, please pop them into the question window, also to the top right of your screen. And to thank you for spending part of your lunchtime with us, towards the end of the webinar, you will be given the opportunity to claim your Just Eat gift voucher. We will send it to you via email. I will now hand over to Bertie, who will provide a brief introduction to IDARO and smart radios.
Thank you, Gemma, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm the Technical Support Specialist for IDARO, and today I'm going to tell you about how it differs from traditional radio. But first, we're going to show you a very short video. So as you've seen, IDARO has the same functions as a traditional two-way radio, but connects over a mobile network and Wi-Fi. So teams benefit from unlimited communication from one side of the world to another. It can also be loaded to your smartphone as a walkie-talkie app, making your phone compatible with other radios. Now let's look at the three pillars of IDARO. Firstly, we have the radio device. So at the core of IDARO is a wide choice of devices from a number of manufacturers. You can choose from either a traditional radio, smartphone with a push-to-talk button, or a hybrid radio, which is the best of both worlds. Secondly, the Taster subscription, which provides the bridge connecting the hardware and the network. And then finally, we have the internet connection. So whether it's through a SIM card or Wi-Fi, teams can stay connected across the globe. Now let's take a look at the advantages of IDARO. One significant advantage is that by using the existing Wi-Fi and mobile network, there isn't the need for any expensive setup. With end-to-end encryption, you can be confident that your conversations and messages will always be private. So unlike traditional two-way radios where interference often disrupts conversations, IDARO is interference-free. Another standout advantage is that the range is limitless. So as long as you have a Wi-Fi or mobile network, you will stay connected regardless of the distance. GPS provides team members locations in real time. It can improve safety and operations. I'm now going to hand over to Tom, the Head of Innovation, who will go through the communication methods in a little more detail.
Thank you, Bertie. To begin, I'll do a quick introduction to some of the communication methods available with IDARO. On the screen, I've got two devices set up as user 1 and user 2. First, we'll look at group calls. Groups work the same way as channels on a traditional radio, however, there's no limit to the number of channels you can have. Additionally, you don't require an Ofcom license for this. As the channels can be managed through the online portal, you can add and remove channels within a few seconds. Next, we'll look at users. First, you can see which users are online and offline, as well as which channel they're currently on. We can send a text message by clicking on the envelope icon to either a specific user or a group. We can then type in our message that we'd like to send, and our user here can receive the message. If we select a specific user, we have the additional option to start a private call. This is still push to talk, but just means that no one else will be able to hear your private conversation. At the end of the conversation, either user can push the red button to return to their main channel. As these devices are Android, you can add additional applications as well as benefit from NFC for guard tours if you need it. And you can also make phone calls and send text messaging the same as on a normal mobile phone. We'll now have a look at a few testimonials from existing IDARO customers. Tendring District Council said, IDARO has allowed officers to stay in contact, safe in the knowledge that should they require emergency assistance, they can activate their SOS button. It has also provided officers with a direct link to their CCTV control room. Oakland's primary school said, we operate across 3 sites and coverage was an issue with our traditional radios. IDARO certainly serves the purpose of reaching out to colleagues anywhere across our sites.
And Rodian Residence Management said, the biggest thing is the fact that it works over Wi-Fi. In residential properties, if you want to use a radio system, you have to wire up antennas and repeater units to get good coverage. With IDARO, you don't need to do any of that. It works straight out of the box using a Wi-Fi network that's already there. We'll now show a short testimonial video from one of our customers, Stagecoach. They're currently using IDARO in many of their depots in London and also the Southeast, and it allows the control room to instantly communicate with individuals as well as all the drivers at once.
The hardest part of communication as a bus driver is actually knowing you're being heard. You want to know you're being looked after, you want to know you're being watched, you want to know if there's a problem, someone can see you and respond to you and help you.
IDARO has enabled us to contact our drivers far more easily, which has brought all sorts of safeguarding benefits to them and made them feel far more secure in their work. We have always had a method to contact our drivers, but it's very rudimentary. Basically, it comes through a ticket machine.
Sometimes the signal would drop out in certain areas, so it was quite tough to get hold of the people that we needed to when we needed to. The controllers are really happy with the immediate response to issues that are out there, whether it be breakdowns, whether it be roadworks. With the radios in place now, it's instant communication. We can get hold of all the buses that are fitted with radios as and when we need to. They are not limited to certain areas and they're not prone to dropping out with signals as the ticket machines were.
We introduced IDARO at our Thanet depot initially, and it was so successful and so popular with our staff, we've decided to roll it out in our other operating locations. The be-all and end-all for someone stood by the side of the road is the bus is going to turn up on time. And IDARO has helped us to manage these unforeseen circumstances far better than we could in the past.
I would totally recommend IDARO to other people. It has improved the day-to-day running of the bus service, and we encounter and deal with problems a lot better now thanks to them. I feel that my service when I'm out there benefits the customers a lot more having the radio.
We measure our employee engagement in our company, and having IDARO in our buses is often mentioned when drivers give feedback about how safe and happy they feel in their workplace. It has made a real difference.
We would like to give you the chance to try IDARO for yourself. So if you answer yes to the poll on your screen, we will send you some devices to trial for a couple of days free of charge. We're now going to have our Q&A session. So thank you very much for sending in your questions. Just going to take a little look through some of them now. Let's kick off with, so we use two-way radios and mobile phones on site. Is there a way that we can integrate IDARO?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we work with a lot of existing customers that do use mobile phones and two-way radios. There's a couple of ways that we can do it. So we can do it with a gateway. So essentially a gateway is a bit of technology. It goes in the middle that allows the mobile phones to talk with your existing radios. So it just means that you've got the best of both worlds with that solution.
Great. And secondly, can this solution support lone workers?
Yep, it certainly can. There's a full range of different solutions when it comes to lone worker with IDARO. So traditionally with two-way radios, the two things that come up quite commonly is lone worker, which what we class as periodic check. So every X amount of time you need to push a button on the radio to confirm that you're okay. And the second one is man down. So that's where the device is upright. When it goes to beyond a certain point, it will set off an alert. Now, IDARO can do both of those. It can also do movement. So if a user doesn't move for a certain amount of time, it can send an alert in the same way if it detects impact. So it's a really key one. We can also monitor battery levels. So you can customize it to the requirements that you need for your lone workers. So we've got another question that's just come in, which is how much does this cost? Now there is such a wide range of devices. We start from a very basic device going all the way up to more smartphone style ones. Now to give you a bit of an idea, pricing starts similar to what you'd expect to pay for a Motorola radio, and does vary depending on the exact device and the features that you're looking for. Another question here is what is the range? Now these devices work by using the internet. So as long as you've got a 3G, 4G, 5G or Wi-Fi connection, you can communicate from anywhere in the world. It is very reliant on that connection though. So as long as you've got that connection, you'll be able to communicate from anywhere. Another question we've got here is, will this work in a basement? Again, going back to my previous point, as long as you have an internet connection, it will work from anywhere, including basement. Basements, again, depending on how deep they are and the material above them, a lot of the 3G, 4G, 5G will be blocked from going into them. But if you do have Wi-Fi, or if you're able to extend Wi-Fi into the basement, then this will cover it. So on the video that we showed, someone has mentioned about the PC to communicate for, I believe it was in the Stagecoach video there. So there is the option to have a dispatcher software. So this is designed for that control room environment, someone that's overseeing a group of users. So if they need to be able to manage or maintain or respond to alerts, that's where the control room software comes into it. It's not required, but it definitely enhances the solution. Excellent. I'm just having a look here, see if there's any other questions. Can you use IDARO on existing radios that run Android? That's a great question. Yes. So depending on the exact device, it will definitely run. If it's an Android-based operating system, it will definitely work on there. The only thing I need to clarify, depending on the device, we may be able to use the hardware buttons, or it might just be on the screen. But we can certainly look at that if that's of interest. Will this work with the existing UHF signals I've got here? So they won't work with them. There is the option where we can make it bridge it together, so it will work over the internet, but we can still make it work with your existing UHF radios, but it won't use those. There is a type of device that we have as an option, which is called a hybrid device, and that will still have the ability to work over UHF signals or traditional radio frequencies. Again, it's an option that we can also share. If you want more information on that, let us know.
Perfect. So if there are any questions unanswered, we will make sure to get back to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you found it useful. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to email us at idaro@brentwoodradios.co.uk. This email address will also be provided in our follow-up email, as well as a link to book your free trial and a recording of this webinar to share with your colleagues. Before you go, please use the poll on your screen to indicate whether you'd like a free lunch on us. We will send you your Just Eat gift voucher via the email address you provided when you registered, and we hope you have a lovely rest of your afternoon.